Hey guys, so we all know what Team Blindfolded is, right? Basically, you have one person who's blindfolded with a scrambled cube and then another person who is sighted who's looking at that cube and telling the blindfolded person what turns to do. That's the basics of Team Blindfolded. Some people get really fast with it. You can come up with code words, like you can use algs, you can be like, okay, just do a soon here. Or you can come up with ways to insert like different F12 slots and have different code names and words for that to give your partner clues. But there are a lot of other ways you can do Team Blind related things that you might not have thought of. Now, these are all ways that I came up with, and a lot of them probably have been done before, but I know that at least a couple of these, at least I haven't seen them done anywhere else. So one fun thing to do is blind team blind, where you have both people blindfolded. So how does that work? Basically, one person is blindfolded and has a scrambled cube that they never see. The other person is blindfolded, but first they memorize the cube that the other person is holding, then they blindfold themselves and call out how the other person should solve it. Now, you don't technically both have to know how to do blindfolded solving in order for this to work, just the person doing the calling, but it's a lot easier if you can just call out letters in your memorization rather than saying the actual moves. So rather than saying like M2, U, R, U prime, R prime, you could just say A, B, and have those targets be things that the other person already knows. And now we start getting into some of the more difficult variants. Well, of course you can do big blind, team blind, like 6x6. Sorry, flashbacks. Or you can try doing something like a Megaminx blindfolded, which is extremely difficult. Rubik's clock blindfolded. I haven't actually tried that. That sounds like it would be a lot of fun. But really the variants I'm most interested to tell you about, these are the ones that I think that I came up with that maybe no one else has done, at least the second variant of this. They are mirror solves. So there's two basic kinds of mirror solves that I've come up with. There is the first kind, which I just realized I don't have a name for either of them, but I'm going to describe them. So in the first version, one person has a scrambled cube and they hold that up above their head like this. Now the other person puts their arms around this person and holds out a solved cube right here. So this person's holding this cube up here, the other person has a solved cube right here, and the person who's behind them with their arms around you looks at your cube and they do any turns that they want you to do on this cube. So if they want you to do an R at the start of your solve, they'll do an R on their cube. So you'll see this, and then you do that. It'll continue like that, and you just follow whatever moves they're doing. And eventually, what'll happen is one of the cubes will be solved, and the other one will be scrambled into the inverse scramble of the original cube. So that's kind of a cool thing. Rami Sabahi and I did that at Nats, and we actually got some pretty fast solves, because since he's just an insanely fast turner and stuff like that, I was able to do stuff like that, and he could look at all of those things I did, and he's like, oh, that's a soon. I'll just copy that and do it myself. And then there's the second variant of this. This one is much, much harder. And much harder than it sounds. This one is literally mirror solving. So basically, you get a scrambled cube, other person has a solved cube, they hold their solved cube in front of your cube, you look at theirs, and if they do a move like this, you have to do the move as if it were in a mirror. It'll be easier to demonstrate with two solved cubes. So if they do this turn, you have to turn in the opposite direction. If they do that turn, you have to do that turn. And it'll continue like this, and you have to just imagine what it would look like if you were literally turning in a mirror. Now, I'm not really sure what kind of scramble this will give you. It'll give you something interesting, but I don't know what. It's not exactly the inverse scramble. It's not necessarily anything like that, but it's just really, really difficult to follow. If any of you make videos of you doing these team blind solves with some friends, let me know. Tell me in the comments. I might check some of them out. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on Monday.